How's everyone doing? Decided to do a live stream tonight because I did a whole bunch of stuff on here, and I found a video that it really wanted to do a reaction to because it looked ridiculous from the title, so I thought that would be fun. If I can get it. Don't have it on there. Okay. Sorry, bear with me because I'm using a different streaming service now and I wanted to test it out, but I found this really ridiculously sounding video. I gotta remember what it's called. So it's called "Be Careful When It Comes to the People in Your Life. Signs that the devil has planted dangerous people." So I thought it would be fun to just go through this and see what they say about what Satan does by putting people in your life to, I don't know, tempt you away from God or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna do that tonight, and if anyone wants to hang out and watch this ridiculous video with me, you are more than welcome to. So I will get the video started and then I'll just stop it when I feel like it. Still getting used to all this, so bear with me. Alright, y'all ready to hear how the devil's gonna bring bad people into your life?
We come across many people in our lifetimes. Friends for a season, friends for a lifetime, acquaintances and colleagues that we have reasonable relationships with. But here's the thing. The devil is an evil devil. If he cannot infiltrate and invade by force, he will do it by deception and inadvertently through your consent.
So the first thing we're going to learn is that the devil believes in consent. Well, I guess I picked the right side of the train tracks for this one then. Because I am all for consent, and yeah, I think that's funny, because, you know, in the world we live in now, consent is a very, that's something that is very important, and it's very important for people to realize that that is something that you have to have in a relationship. And I just think it's funny that Christians are saying that Satan's gonna use consent from other people to sneak into your life and get you away from God.
One of the ways that he will try and get you to consent unknowingly is through our network of relationships. If the devil can plant someone into your inner circle, then he knows that he has a good chance of influencing you to do the wrong thing. He knows that you're much more likely to be receptive when someone close to you is encouraging you to do the wrong thing. Even more so if that person is helping, assisting, and enabling you to do the wrong thing. And so the thing is, you need to be alert to the signs that someone in your life may be planted by the devil in order to get you to push or pull you away from walking with the Lord.
All right, so they're going to tell us what these signs are that are going to keep us away from God, because the devil's going to send people into your life, and those people are going to take you away from God, so you have to be careful. So, what do you think they're going to be? I don't know yet. I haven't seen this video. This is my reaction video, so. But, yeah, I'm excited to find out what that's going to be all about. Sorry, I was trying to fix my chat because it's like... There we go. Now I can see y'all. Gaslighting, yes. Holy crap. Yeah, they really want you to think that other people, Satan's gonna use other people to get you away from God. That's the general consensus. Not this whole idea that, you know, you're a person and can make your own decisions and have consent and let people into your life, no matter who they are. Alright, let's move on and see, what are these signs that Satan has brought someone into your life?
Now, the first sign you should look for is probably the most obvious, and that is the person who encourages you to do wrong. The enemy will always plant people or a person who encourages and cheers you on. This is the type of person who encourages you to go to places that you know you have no business going to. This is the type of person that edges you on. Oh, there's nothing wrong with a little fun every once in a while, they'll say. Stop being so uptight. Stop being such a holy roller. One drink won't make you a sinner. This person is a dangerous person.
Watch out for people who want you to drink. Because we all know what drinking leads to, right? Oh my god, seriously. I'm loving this and laughing at it because it's so ridiculous. And you can't go to parties either. Dang it. But I really, really wanted to go dance and drink and, I don't know, gamble. Make some money off some poker games. Damn it. Oh well. So, first, you don't want anyone in your life who's gonna cause you to sin. And sin is anything God doesn't like. And apparently God doesn't like drinking. And he doesn't like parties. And he doesn't like you being in places where other people are. Other than church, I guess. I never understood that. At what point, like, what is wrong with going to a bar? Like, even if you go to a bar and just have a soda, like, is there a major problem with that? I don't see any problem with that, but I guess you're not showing the light to the world because you're not being like Jesus. So let's find out how else we can be like Jesus.
They are a threat to your salvation. The Amplified Translation for 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33 to 34 says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals. Be sober-minded. Be sensible. Wake up from your spiritual stupor, as you ought, and stop sinning. For some of you have no knowledge of God. You are disgracefully ignorant of Him and ignore His truths. I say this to your shame." How does bad company corrupt good morals, you ask? Well, they encourage you to do the wrong thing. They encourage you to sin. They try and get you to compromise your integrity. They are the sort of person who will tell you things like, "It's okay once in a while." But be warned.
Here's the deal. Everything is okay once in a while. Pretty much. I mean, there are some boundaries that should never be crossed. But, you know, going out for a drink or going out to just hang out with your friends, that's a normal thing. Making it seem like you need to be isolated completely from the world just because you need to, be this holy person and never have fun. That's what I always felt like when I look at like the older people like in the church that I used to go to. It's very, very much like anything that is fun is like anti-God. And it's just like they don't want to have fun. They don't want to just, enjoy life. And it's horrible for people. But, yeah, even when I was a Christian, I didn't see anything wrong with, hanging out and going to bars and stuff and, just being a person. If there really is a God and he really created all this, I think he would want people to enjoy it and not be these angry people who think the whole world's going to hell and we're just gonna sit in church and judge everyone. It's ridiculous. Oh, Wednesday. Yeah. Alright, let's see what else there is. Because we've gotten to the sin part. Part of me thinks that a lot of this is just going to be about sin. But it's like, if you got all these things that are supposed to be against God from people, it can't just be about sin. Like, there has to be other reasons these people are trying to get you away from God. Well, we'll find out. Let's go.
This is the type of bad company that corrupts. They push and pull you to sin, and as children of God, once we identify such people in our lives, we need to separate ourselves from them. Now, the second sign that someone in your life has been planted by the devil is if they try to control and manipulate you. Think of it this way. God Almighty, in His wisdom, in His majesty and glory, He does not control you. He does not forcefully make you do anything.
Okay. So, this is not true at all if you read the Bible, because God has very much said that you need to do what He says, or He will throw you into hell. God completely controls everything because He does manipulate you and He does abuse you because He tells you, you love me or you burn. So, pot calling the kettle black, this is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous that they don't see, like, God does control you. It's just, you don't look at it that way because you've been taught that this manipulation and this abuse is love, and it's not. So, I feel like this one just goes over their heads because they very much, like, this is how Christians act. A lot of Christians are manipulative, and a lot of Christians will do whatever they can to get you to come to their God. But they won't ever say that He's abusive and manipulative, even though that's exactly what His character is in the Bible. Sorry, I had to go off on that because that's crazy talk.
The Holy Spirit may convict you, but conviction in the heart and manipulation are two very different things. Now, when you find someone who attempts to control you, that person is being used of the devil. God has given you a free will. He has given you the ability and capability to make choices. And any time that someone else tries to take that away from you, any time that someone attempts to impose their will upon you, they are being used of the devil.
You know, that's funny because last I checked, the devil gave people choices. And the devil didn't kill people for not obeying him. So, I don't quite agree with that at all. Oh yeah, it's a lot of thought control and emotional control. That's a huge part of just the whole Christian religion. They don't want you to think outside of their box, because if you think outside of their box, Satan's gonna get you. He's hiding in the shadows. You better look out. You better watch out. I am enjoying this because it's so ridiculous. I hope you're enjoying this too. I'm glad I found this video because I thought it was utterly ridiculous. I did not watch this before. I saw like probably the first like 10 seconds of it, and I was like, I have to do a reaction to this because just what they're saying at the beginning of this means this whole thing is just gonna be one ridiculous mess, and I have to just react to it because I think it's gonna be funny and ridiculous, obviously. So on we tread.
If you look throughout the Bible, you will see that anyone who had this spirit of control was used by the devil. Jezebel had this controlling spirit. Nebuchadnezzar had this spirit. In fact, it was so strong on him that he built a golden statue of himself and demanded that everyone would bow down and worship it. And when 3 Hebrew boys by the names of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused, he had them cast into a furnace. That is a wicked and controlling spirit. If you identify this spirit in anyone within your inner circle, I encourage you to move away. Separate yourself. That's how you will be protected.
So how do we protect ourselves from God? Because last I heard, he had hardened Pharaoh's heart. So Pharaoh didn't have any control over anything because God was controlling him. So should we run away from God? Maybe God's the devil. Maybe that's the secret. What do you think? Is that the secret? Honestly, I think if the devil and God existed, the devil would be the good guy because, you know, he lived with God. He knew God was a dick. He was smart to try to get out of there. He was a smart man. Yeah. Apparently, if you're against God, there's a demon in you that's controlling you. That's what it sounds like. I guess all us atheists have demons in us. I just have this wicked thing inside me that wants me to not do God's bidding. You know, critical thinking and all that. God doesn't want that. God wants obedience. God wants you to just lay down at his feet and give up all your human abilities and just be his slave forever. Heaven sounds like hell. In my eyes. That's all I have to say about that. Because I don't want to worship a narcissistic, abusive God for all eternity.
The third sign that someone is sent by the devil is what I'd like to call the enabler. The enabler is really used by the enemy because this person goes beyond encouraging you to sin. They go beyond manipulating you to sin. They provide the resources for you to sin. The enabler will give the addict money to feed their habit. The enabler will invite the married man to an event with single women and help him to lie to his wife that he'll be out of town for a few days because of work. If you're a person given to lust, the enabler will make it possible for you to act out that lust. The enabler will facilitate. They will provide the resources and everything needed for you to do what you are not meant to do and be where you are not meant to be.
So I'm not allowed to do anything? I have to just be a rock? Because it sounds to me like I can't really do anything if I follow this God character. Who wants to live like that? Also, I don't see the difference between an encourager and an enabler. I think they kind of go on the same thing. Because someone can encourage you to do something and still have that stuff. And you can still say no. Just like you can say no to an enabler. I feel like 1 and 2 are or 1 and 3 are very similar. But they just have to make things up because that's how they do it. It's real easy to get into people's heads when they don't actually think about things. Or they think about things that don't matter. Like this.
The enabler is a dangerous person because they make it possible for you to sin. And Jesus gave a very stern and serious warning to those who enable others to sin. Here's what Mark chapter 9, verse 42 says. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe and trust in me to stumble, that is, to sin or lose faith, it would be better for him if a heavy millstone, one requiring a donkey's strength to turn it, were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. Those are strong words to illustrate the severity of punishment that would follow if someone leads others to sin. So be careful. Assess your inner circle. Is there anyone who enables you to sin? Because if there is, that's not the sort of person you should be around. Now, the final type of person you...
So how do we define sin? Because this seems like something that hasn't been defined in this whole video. What is sin? What do you think sin is? I mean, you've talked about sin and you've talked about morals, but there's no foundation for the definition of that in this whole video. So what one person might perceive as a sin, another person will just perceive as everyday living, and that God's okay with that. Hence the problem of Christianity. Because you can literally go to a church and have 10 different opinions on what sin is. I remember when I went to church, there were 2 pastors. One pastor was very old school. Like, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't cuss, you don't get tattoos. And the other one was all chill. And he was fine with drinking, and he was fine with smoking, and he was fine with tattoos. And it just goes to show you that nobody really knows what they're talking about when it comes to these things, and that it's very much in the mind of whoever thinks they know God. It's all imaginary. They all live in an imaginary world, and nobody lives in the same imaginary world. That's what's so weird about it. Like, I would get it if everyone agreed, but the fact that even 2 people in a church didn't even agree on what sin is, like, that's a major problem. I don't get it. I don't understand. I live in a century where there's freaking computers and telephones and science, and people still believe there's a sky wizard who's gonna make their lives better and somehow punish them if they do something wrong and not obey him. It makes my head spin sometimes. Yeah, waste of a perfectly good millstone. What are you doing? Don't be throwing those in the water. You might need that. Or, sell it. Especially during a pandemic, when there's a lot of people who need money.
You need to avoid is the discourager. The discourager is one who pulls you away from God. They make you question God. The discourager might not necessarily enable you to sin or encourage you to sin, but here's what they'll do. They'll talk you out of joining that Bible study group on Wednesday. They'll talk you out of attending that prayer meeting. They'll give you 1,001 reasons why you should watch the game or attend this event, and they'll tell you how missing one service won't hurt you. This is the type of bad company you don't want around you.
Yeah, because, if you miss one Sunday, you might start thinking for yourself. Anyone? I mean, isn't that the whole point? Atheist Bible study. Yeah. I have one on Twitch if you want to come see it. We're doing Exodus. I just read Exodus 14 to 15 today. So if you haven't seen that and you want to read the Bible with me, go on my Twitch. If you're watching this on Twitch, you can watch it after this. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to my Twitch after this. And you can watch me read the Bible and talk to people and give my 2 cents about how I see it very differently now that I'm not in the church. But yeah, I love Atheist Bible studies. Also, big shout out to Hannah and Jake, because they're the ones who really started me thinking about that kind of stuff when I was reading along with them. Because Bible Reloaded is amazing, in my opinion. But I would, that's definitely, if you don't want to just read along with me, definitely go check theirs out, because they're pretty awesome too. Yeah. It's that whole mind, where you all have to think the same way, or you all have to be brainwashed the same way. If you miss a Sunday, where are you gonna get your brainwashing from? You know, I when I was in church, like, that was my Bible study, or Tuesday night Bible study, and Sundays, like, I don't know very many people that actually, like, read their Bibles at home. Or they would start and they would just stop. Yeah. So, better watch out. Better not cry. Because Satan's gonna get you. And he's gonna make sure you don't go to church. Or, start talking to people who make you think. It's not good, man. Don't do it. Back to the video.
The discourager will question your pastor. They present the case of how church is all about profit. They will highlight how church people treat you. Everything negative, they'll pick up on it. And so beware. Be careful of this type of person. They will never tell you that there is no perfect church. They will never tell you that if you keep missing and neglecting your prayer life, you will not progress as a Christian.
Okay, I have to pause right now because my friend, the Awoken One, just came in here and I have to say hello. We are reacting to this ridiculous video about people that the devil sends into your life to get you away from God. And the ridiculousness of Satan using people in order to turn you away. It's ridiculous. But it's fun, and I'm enjoying this, and I'm having fun. So, okay, sorry. I had to say hi. And now I'm going to get back to my video.
You will be powerless as a Christian. So overall, I pray that you will be vigilant against people who encourage you to sin, enable you to sin. Stay away from these types of people. Evil company corrupts good habits. Pray that God would expose every single individual that's been planted by the enemy in your life. But especially, pray that God would lead you to people who are strong in faith so that you can strengthen each other and encourage each other in the things of the Lord.
So if you pray and you never get an answer, does that mean that there's no one in your life trying to get you away? Or does God just not care? You have to wonder. Or, maybe some people just think they know. I don't know. I think a lot of people just think that this is what God is telling me in my brain. But it's really just your brain. Yeah, that's a church we need. The Church of Weed, man. Let's just do it. Who's on board with me? Actually, I've never actually tried weed, but I've heard it's fun. Maybe one day. But, yeah. That'd be interesting to have a bunch of people go to church just to do that. And, like, chill out. Have some snacks. Okay, I'm getting all into some other world right now. Yeah. Yeah, the prayer thing, I don't know. I think eventually it would just come down to whether you like that person or not. Or, you know, something pops in your head and you think it's the Holy Spirit telling you that that's not someone should be around, when it's really just your brain. That's sad. I don't know how it affects me because I've never had it, so maybe one day we'll see. But right now I am not doing it. Even though I live in Oregon, it's legal here. Like, we have dispensaries on like every corner where I live. But, you know, I've been in lots of those. I just haven't bought anything. Yeah. Maybe it'll help my anxiety, chill me out a little bit.
Is that Instagrams?
My upright vibrates every time I slouch, which
Sorry.
trains my brain to sit up straight.
Okay. Here we go.
There are nearly 8 billion people on this planet. A very small percentage of those will go on to become part of our inner circle. And a smaller percentage yet will remain loyal for life. Unfortunately, people aren't always who you think they are. People cheat. People lie. People say hurtful things. But more importantly, bad company corrupts good habits. We're called to love one another, and we should. We should love our neighbor. But I believe there are certain people that we can love from a distance because we're protecting our relationship with God. There are people who will take you away from the Lord if you're not careful. Some people will be sent by the devil specifically to demoralize, disturb, and discourage your faith. We must consider the possibility that when it comes to certain people and situations, sometimes we just have to walk away and love that neighbor from a distance. When you deposit more than they invest in you, when they discourage more than they encourage, walk away. When your relationship has become a burden rather than a blessing, walk away. Because ultimately,
It really is nonsense. You're right. But I'm loving it because it's so ridiculous. And I thought it'd be so fun just to make fun of it. Because, you know, sometimes you just need to chill out and make fun of ridiculousness. Is faith a good thing? No. Faith is an excuse. It's an excuse so you don't have to look at the evidence. I don't think belief is a good thing either. Like, you shouldn't believe anything without having it backed up. Yeah. What was he saying? I was gonna say something about the video and now I forgot. I got off on talking to y'all. It deserves to be ridiculed. Oh, yeah. I think any religion or faith that, well, obviously, relies on faith to make it true, as they say, is ridiculous. And I guess it always made me, like, crazy once I came out of the church that so many Christians, like, bash, like, Protestant Christians bash Catholics and Mormons and, you know, all these other sects of Christianity, even though what they believe is no more ridiculous than what I was raised with and what they're raised with. So it's just, it's all in the same bubble, but because they were raised in their bubble, that's the bubble that they think is true. And if they had been raised in a different bubble, they would be fighting for the other bubble. So it's just, I don't know. I'm really into bubbles. As you can tell by my background. And, you know, my saying, break out of the bubble and start thinking for yourself. I don't know why I'm obsessed with bubbles. Oh well. Yeah, this whole video is definitely ridiculous. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So if Satan's bringing people to you to get you away from God, isn't your whole, like, mission in this life, at least from how I was raised, was to help those people find God? So if we put a wall up, how is that helping? Because to me that seems like if Christians really do believe in hell, don't you think you would, like, hang out with those people and, like, beg and plead to bring them to God? Because I feel like walking away from those people would just be selfish and horrible. I don't know. That's definitely something that, once again, bubbles. Comes back to a bubble because you're keeping yourself away from people that are going to take you out of that Christian bubble. I'm really obsessed with bubbles tonight. That's so weird, though, because Satan doesn't have any power outside of what God supposedly gives him. But God has shown in the Bible that if he really does exist, he has the ability to also blind people. So if people who don't believe in God or don't believe in any kind of religion are, like, being attacked, they wouldn't know which one they were being attacked by. You wouldn't know if it was Satan or God. Honestly, if I was a betting person, I would put my money on God. Because I think God is way more arrogant and way more controlling. And really wants, you know, people to do whatever he wants. Even if that means taking away their free will. Which we see many times in the Bible. I don't know those names. Alright, back to the video.
Ultimately, staying close to certain people will open up many unpleasant doors. Doors of stress and anxiety. Doors of resentment and hatred. I'm not saying don't love people, but I'm saying love those from a distance who can potentially hinder you from following Christ. Those who may entice you to join their sinful ways. Proverbs says, whoever walks with the wise become wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. If you continue to stay in contact with toxic people and toxic situations, they will only drag you down with them. So walk away. not just for your mental and emotional well-being, but for your spiritual health as well. It might be difficult, but it will almost certainly be worth it. And when it's all over, you will be so glad that you did it. In fact, you may even wish you had done it sooner, instead of dwelling on the pain you have to endure. Think about the freedom waiting on the other side. Think about the relief you'll feel without someone criticizing your every move or absorbing all of your valuable time and energy. God has so much in store for you. He will place new people in your life, ones who encourage and uplift you, just as iron sharpens iron. That's the kind of community we were made to live in. So don't waste your life taking constant abuse from someone if you don't have to. Instead, take courage and hold on to hope. You don't have to go through this alone. God is with you, ready to help you in whatever way you need. He will comfort you through the heartache, the disappointment, the anger, and all the other confusing emotions that come with this kind of situation. So pray for wisdom, pray for discernment, pray for strength, so that when the time comes, you are able to walk away and move on to something greater.
Yes, because we all know that magical thinking makes everything better. Right? Right? I mean, I could pray to a genie. There's no difference. I could pray to a star, planet. Yeah, mental health people, come on. I definitely challenge anyone who's in the church. Go get your mental health checked. Figure out what's actually going on up there. Because I can tell you, it's not what you think is happening. And you will be much freer and much happier when you know what's actually happening in your brain. And you're able to talk it through with people. And, if you have a mental health issue that needs medication, you can get on that and you can feel so much better. That is one thing that I will tell people for the rest of my life, because the church is a horrible place for anyone who has mental health problems. And honestly, I feel like the church is definitely a contributor to a lot of those mental health problems as well. I was raised, so I went to sorry, I'm over here thinking. I was born, we went to a Nazarene church till I was 4 or 5, and then we switched over to Assembly of God, so I was in Assembly of God church, which is Pentecostal, but not there's different Pentecostals. The Pentecostals I went to, it wasn't you had to wear your hair up and wear skirts or whatever. It was, the Pentecostal I went to was dancing in the aisles and speaking in tongues and people prophesying in the church and people getting prayed over and falling down in the spirit and things like that. So yeah, it was Assembly of God, which was it believes in a lot of those Pentecostal things, but it's not super strict about what girls wear and stuff. So yeah, I was raised basically extreme Protestant, but extreme in the fact that we believe in actual spiritual gifts and things like that. So, and then the few years before I left the church, I was going to a non-denominational church that my husband actually grew up in. So that, yeah, and a lot of his friends and stuff were there, and his parents went there. So I went there for, I don't know, probably like the year before we got married until I left in, well, it's been like 4 years, so I was there for a while. And I was very active in that church. Like, I, went every Sunday, and I went to we had a mom's Bible study that I would go to every Tuesday, and I also helped with the youth group there for like 2 or 3 years, where I actually like helped teach Sunday school and, went on youth trips with the youth group, go to camp and stuff. And I was one of the adults that went with them, and so yeah, I was very ingrained in it for a while. But yeah, I think anyone who hasn't been to a Pentecostal church, it can be a very scary place. I remember when my husband and me were dating, like, I took him to my church, and all the crazy stuff was happening. They were dancing up and down the aisles and speaking in tongues and all that stuff, and like, he's not used to that, and he was just like, what is happening? But yeah, it's, if you're not raised in it and you don't really know what's going on, it can be really scary. But also, when you get out of it, you learn so much about how, your brain works, and, being an atheist and, like, looking at how our minds actually work, and how a lot of that stuff is just those things that, I don't know, it's like made up stuff in our heads that we don't even realize is just made up. Like, because we're told our lives that it's God, but it's not. It's just you being crazy. It's almost like, oh, what is that, where they have mass hysteria? There you go. Mass hysteria mixed in with a sermon. But you think that mass hysteria is coming from a supernatural being. Yeah, so dancing up and down the church. Yeah. It's funny because there's actually there's like a more like crazy Pentecostal, I guess, that's above us. That's like Foursquare Church. I've heard they're a lot more crazy, and they have like, some of them have like instruments, and they do like flag waving and stuff. Like, we didn't go to a church that did all that extra stuff, but yeah, there was a lot of, I remember like every Wednesday we'd go to church, and I'd go to youth group, and we would have like an hour of just worship time, and like they would start off with like crazy loud fun songs, and all the youth kids would be standing at the base of the stage and just dancing with their hands up, because we thought we were worshiping God with our arms up and us dancing all around. Because we were brainwashed into thinking that was what God wanted. So, but yeah, it's an interesting, if you grew up atheist, or you grew up in a lot more strict or even like Orthodox church, I guess, going to one of those churches would just be like, what is happening? So, yeah, I don't know, it was just so in a swimming pool. Maybe, I don't know. Heaven would be such a weird... Okay, like, if heaven was real, the just different, denominations would just be so funny to see, because, like, yeah, Pentecostals would be, like, dancing crazily and, you know, speaking in tongues and doing all these things, and then there'd be, like, Baptists standing in the corner freaked out because they didn't know what was going on. Like... I don't know. I think it's funny. Just to think about all the different things, because the way the church works, there's just so many different ways that they think you can worship and you can be a part of the church and you can, I don't know, honor God. Because, like, I've known people who went to churches where it's like, you can't even sway. Like, if you sway, it's too close to dancing. But then I grew up in a church where it's like, you can just dance your heart out. So, it's interesting. And crazy. And weird. And all of the above. Almost done with our video. Alright, let's get back to this cray-cray video. Oh, I guess that was it. Didn't need to get back to the video because it's all over. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed that, because I thought that was funny. I need to find more videos like that, because they make me happy just to see how utterly ridiculous some people think. I don't know, I don't know. I'm definitely one of those people that does not respect religion, and I definitely, like, I have no problem coming on here and doing this, but I know there's probably a lot of people that would absolutely hate me for doing this, especially people in my family. But it's just like, I've just gotten to that point in, like, in my brain where it's just like, I don't care anymore. Like, I want to do fun things like this too, and not just, you know, read the Bible, or, I mean, I love doing my animations. That's definitely something I love to do too. I was working on one today, which I'm super excited about. I still got a lot to do, but I will get it done. Oh yeah, I went to a church that 100% believed in the rapture, and they made us watch all the Left Behind movies at church, like, as a youth group. And they would tell us, like, every Wednesday and every Sunday, like, these are the things that are going to happen. And, you know, they always linked, like, current events that were happening to the last days, and how, you know, it's probably going to happen before you, you know, get into high school. Books of the Bible. I'm reading, on my Twitch, I'm reading through the Bible. I was gonna do reading through the Bible for a year, but my life got crazy, and my summer got crazy, so my goal to do it for a year is probably not gonna happen now, but I definitely do want to read through the whole Bible, and that's what I've been doing. And today I did on Wednesday, I read Exodus 14 and 15, but for some reason, after I had already done all that, the video was glitchy. So I had to go back today and like redo it, so if people couldn't watch through the glitchy video, they can see that one now. But yeah, that's one thing I want to do every day since my kids are back in school now. Like, I want to take that time during the day and do that Bible reading every day and be on here and talk to people and just get feedback and tell people how I feel about certain verses, and people tell me things. I like discussing this stuff. I love just learning about religion in general. And it was so funny because growing up, I would read about every other religion in the world. Like, I would get books from the library and just eat them up because I wanted to know everything about all the other religions. But because I was, like, raised in Christianity, I was very much told not to do that. And so, once again, like this video over here, don't read anything that's gonna, pull you away from God. Don't look at anything that's gonna pull you away from God. Don't do research, so. Ooh, that sounds good. The video I'm doing this week is actually some false prophecies. Like, I'm doing a series where it's not like all of them. I'm not gonna do all of them, but I picked a few like false prophecies from Matthew, and just like I break down like why they're not actually prophecies, and why whoever wrote the books contributed them to Jesus when they weren't intended to be about Jesus at all. So that's what I'm working on this week for my video series, and I think I'm gonna do 4 of those for that series and just do one for each book. So yeah, I got that. I got all the audio done for that today, and then I got the first 2 animated scenes, and I have 9 scenes that I have to do, so I think I'm gonna try to work on a lot of that tomorrow. But I also wanted to come on here and do this. I really want to, I don't know, I really want to see if I can make my streaming stuff more prevalent and maybe turn it into a career. I don't know. We will see. If not, I will find something else to do. But yeah, I like doing this, and I can do it from home when my kids are at school, and I really need a job from home because I have like medical stuff that makes it hard for me to like work in the public. So I am really hoping that I can get this to work, and so I want to stream more and be more in the community, but also try to, I don't know, see if I can make this something that I could possibly live off of, which I know is not easy. I know it's not, I can dream, but I don't know. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I very much enjoy doing this, and I very much like doing my animations and stuff, and I have a passion for this because I've been on both sides, and I see all these people leaving and needing people like me out there just to tell them, what, it's okay to not believe, it's okay to leave, even if people around you shun you or hurt you or whatever. Like, there's a whole community of people that will rally around you, and I think that's a big thing about this whole online community, is that it's not only given me like a platform to help other people. It's given me a platform to have other people in my life that I would have never had in my life if I hadn't started doing this. So I think that's something I didn't know I needed, and now that I have it, I don't want to let it go. Because I haven't met anyone in person, but I have talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people who have been in the same situation as me, and I'm actually finding out there's a lot of people that live near me, so that's fun. I found another YouTuber who only lives like 30 minutes away from me, and like she has invited me to do like atheist stuff that they do around me. So like honestly, I think having this online community, like, it's gonna lead to, you know, friendships and support that I need, and it's gonna lead to friendships and support that other people will need, because I very much like to talk to other people and just be there for them. I don't know, that's just kind of my thing. And I guess I'm good at it, so I want to do my best to, you know, help people think and not just be stuck or feel like they're trapped in something they can't get out of. So French fries, you're making me hungry. I can't eat French fries though. I'm gonna have to go to bed pretty soon. It's getting late. I never stay up this late. But I really wanted to do this and have some fun and hang out with some people, which I did, because you guys are awesome. That'd be very bold. Very bold to do in a church. I've often thought about doing stuff in a church. I clean a church for a living. Part of me wants to just leave, like, pamphlets or something that tells people that how the Bible's wrong, but I also don't want to lose my job, because I definitely need to keep that right now. 'Cause I need it. Ask an atheist. Oh goodness. Ask an atheist. I feel like the problem with that is it's like a setup. Because no matter what you do, they're not gonna actually listen to you. Not if it's gonna, like, draw them away from what they believe and who they actually think, you know, how they actually think God is and what's gonna happen to them. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe some people do sit in church and hear atheists and start questioning, but I feel like most people go to church, they don't want to, you know, question those things and look into them as much. Helps normalize atheism. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a big part of this too, is normalizing it, because, you know, being an American and living in America, it's everywhere. Like, even just living, I mean, I live in a liberal state, and there's still, you know, churches on every corner, and there's still a lot of people around here that are Christian. And, you know, if you meet someone who's Christian and you're not, they tend to have a much lower, like, opinion of you. But I think I'm lucky to live where I live, because yeah, even though that's the truth, like, there's also just a lot of people in where I live that very much just do their own thing, So, and it makes it, I don't know, I think being close to a city where there's a lot more of that, you know, be yourself attitude and don't focus so much on what other people think. I don't know. And I feel like a lot of people in my generation are getting to that point where it's just like, we've reached the point where it's like, it doesn't really matter what other people think, because at the end of the day, everyone deserves to be an individual, and everyone deserves to, you know, figure out who they are. And I think that's a huge reason why a lot of people are, you know, leaving the church, because they can actually be themselves. I mean, all the churches I went to, there was no, like, there were certain boundaries and you just don't cross. And being an atheist now, I look at those and I'm just like, what's the point? Like, why are you putting everyone in boxes and expecting them to live the way that you want them to live? Like, that doesn't help anyone, and crushing people's individuality just destroys people. And I think that is something that has definitely freed me from leaving the church, is that I can be myself, and, you know, I can talk about what I know. I can be who I want to be and do what I want to do. Yeah. I think I've just gotten to that point in life where I don't care as much. Or maybe that's just because I'm in my 30s now. I don't know. I mean, I've been in my 30s for 3 years, but, you know, maybe it's just gotten to the point where I no longer care about what other people think, because I realize everyone deserves to have a chance to be an individual. And a lot of religions don't let that happen. And I'm not okay with any church that does that. And that is, I don't know, I think that's a big reason too why I don't think I could ever go back to the church. Not just like the Bible stuff, but even just the social stuff. There's so many like social issues in the church, and it's causing a lot of headbutting right now. Mid-20s? I'm 33. Yeah, I'm getting older. But, you know, that's life. No, I definitely, it's funny when people call kids millennials, because I look at the older people, I'm like, no. Like, I'm a millennial, and I'm in my 30s, so. Yeah, it's interesting to see that dynamic. I'm like winding down. I think my sleep medicine is kicking in. And I've been live streaming for over an hour. More than that. I've been going for a while. I just needed some, like, fun time, chill time, calm time. I don't know, whatever you want to call this. Christian children's books. I thought about reading, like, the children's Bible and talking about how there were certain things that they purposely leave out because they wanted to be, like, age appropriate. But, like, that definitely reinforces a lot of that brainwashing too, because if you hear all the other parts of the story and they take out the gore and stuff and then they bring it back later, like, you don't think anything of it. Imaginary sky, daddy. Anyways, I had fun. Thank you all who showed up. I like doing this, and I might need to do this more in the future. But, yeah, my sleep meds are kicking in, so I think I'm gonna wind down. And it's almost 1 a.m., so I need to sleep. But I had fun with all of you, and I hope I can do more of these things. I don't know, maybe I'll start streaming more at nighttime. It's easier on the weekends because the week gets busy. Like, I would love to just, you know, stream for hours, but yeah, I'm a mom. I have 2 kids, and they have to go to school. And so, the week is a little bit more like do my Bible readings on my Twitch and work on my animations when I have the time. But yeah, I have to work around all that and, you know, still take care of all the other stuff moms have to do. So I hope everyone had fun. If you missed the sorry, my throat has been so dry lately. If you missed the video, I'm sure it'll be uploaded on here so you can watch it all over again. Or if you came in the middle or something, or you just want to watch me make fun of it again, do whatever you want. But definitely, if you're on YouTube, give it a thumbs up if you like it. And if you're new and you didn't know me, and you want to see more of my videos, like, you can subscribe. If you want to support me in any way, I have a Teespring store. Oh my god, I'm losing it. Teespring store, a PayPal, and I can't think of the other one right now. Patreon. There we go. Yeah, they're all, well, OP Atheist 1 is my PayPal. You can go to the Teespring store. I have, like, cups, sweatshirts, mugs. I don't know if anybody wants to support me right now. Because doing these is not cheap. And I like doing this. I really do. But also don't feel obligated, because I don't want to just beg people for money either. Like, I want to hang out with people too. This is not just about that. This is very much about hanging out with people that I like and, you know, doing fun things like videos and stuff. So, you can find me on YouTube, Overprotected Atheist. I have a Twitter, which is OP_Atheist. I have a Facebook, which is Overprotected Atheist. I don't have a lot of people on that one, though. I kind of gave up on Facebook. But, also, if you want, I have a website. I've put a few blog posts. I'm really bad at grammar, so if you want to read those, but you're grammar Nazi, you might not want to do that. Or if you just want to read what I spewed onto a piece of paper without any grammar. But yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Well, probably. Oh, Twitch. I have a Twitch, Overprotected Atheist. Overprotected Atheist on Twitch. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm gonna go to bed because I'm about to crash. And I hope I see everyone again. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how things go. If I don't come on tomorrow, I will definitely be working on my animation so I can get that out on YouTube, because I think it's gonna be good. See everyone later. Have a good evening, morning, night, whatever time it is for you. Bye, guys.